One and all, welcome to Funkatopia Live WTF. Welcome to Funkatopia. I am your host, Mr. Christopher. This is my illustrious co-host, Mr. Jeff Page.
Will forever front myself. No one else will do it. I will do it.
Yes. So this is the official show. So this is kind of how this works. Makes editing a whole bunch easier. All that being said, I want to welcome all of you fine folks who are in here to talk about the one and only I see Greg Brown said Jelly Bean posted about an hour ago. What did he post? I hope it's not something sad because that would be a horrible segue. Tonight we're going to be talking about the celebration, the Prince celebration happening at Paisley Park. And this is the version 2 because they just released some brand new information regarding the event, specifically ticket pricing and host hotels and things like that. And so we kind of wanted to do a little bit of a go back and talk a little bit more about the details, especially for you newbies that have never been to a Paisley Park celebration before. We kind of want to give you a little bit of details and kind of work things out for you, but also kind of talk about these ticket prices, also talk about the lack of a lineup, also talk about some of the things that you're frustrated about, also talk about some of the questions and answers. So if you have Q and A, or actually you probably don't have A. I mean, you might have A, but if you have Qs, put them in the chat area over there. Or wherever it is. Actually, it's probably down there. If you're on Facebook and you're not if you're not following us, please follow us. Oh my God, you just follow us. We've probably invited you and you did not follow us. If the follow button is not live, just click on follow. Click on like while you're at it too. Follow is way more important than like, but please follow. We are right about at 41,000 followers, where I think before the show we were at 40,910 or something like that. That's insane. We're almost at 41,000 followers on Facebook, so just keep going. Let's do 41. I'd love to be able to hit at least 50 before the end of the year. That'd be awesome. But we're averaging about 1,000 followers. That'd be nice. 1,000 followers a month on Facebook, which is insane. The growth is phenomenal. But before we even get started, we're going to talk about, again, the celebration. We want to make sure that we do this, but there are 2 guests that I want to bring on. They've been trying to get on the show, one of which is based out of London right now. So it's like 1:06 a.m. in the morning there, I think right now. And you may not know who these individuals are, but I'm going to bring them on and let them introduce themselves because they actually have a very, very cool app that is going to be, hopefully is going to be released before the celebration, that you probably want to have in your arsenal when you pull up into that MSP airport. That's what it is. MSP, right? The 3-letter for nothing. MSP. But yes, it's Kristen Schemler, who is a Prince historian, who is a Twin Cities girl, but she's like, you may actually know her if you've ever been to Electric Fetus, or this. It's like, these things are a bunch, but she has these brochures that have a bunch of really cool princely locations, like where he was born, the hospital that he was at, this house and that house and this. And it is a little brochure, and it's very, very cool. And it's pretty friggin' awesome. And she is actually working with another lady by the name of Sharon, the one that's in London. And they're going to be briefly talking about their new app that is coming called Soundaround. And the reason why I kind of put it here is because, again, it's very, very early in London, but also because of the fact that it's a really, really cool app to have on your phone during the celebration if you're planning on going. And it's kind of an app that gives you and I hope I'm saying this right, it's kind of like a museum-like type of audio walkthrough in cities, to accentuate your visits to major locations. And lucky you, a Minneapolis-based one with Prince is one of them. I'm hoping that's correct. That's kind of the right thing. Let's just bring them in, let them discuss.
You'll correct us.
First, Sarah Lee, welcome, and Kristen. How are you guys?
Hey.
Hi. Good, thank you. Yes. It's Sarah. That's all good though.
It is Sarah.
Okay. I hope you don't have to get up early.
I'll forgive you.
Okay, all right. So I know we obviously want to just maybe spend about like 5-10 minutes on this because I want you guys to be able to have an opportunity to kind of showcase what it is that you're working on with this app and what's coming here.
Sure. By the way, can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Oh, awesome. No?
No, it's a little bit very, very low.
Is it? I have headphones on, so
Yeah.
I can
Sarah
hear it.
knows I'm a historian. I'm terrible at technology. So
I bring the tech in this.
I'll try and speak loudly here. Sorry about that. So yeah, thank you for having us on tonight, Mr. Christopher and Jeff. It's great to see you both. And your introduction was good, but we can fill in the description a little bit more for you. So as you mentioned, I've been spending the last 7 years really researching Prince places, trying to figure out his story from the north side to Paisley Park and identifying the correct locations of where he was, when he was there. And because I'm not a very techie person, I would put it out to people on spreadsheets because that's like how I know to do tech. And so, I know that you and a lot of other people would get that, and then you took that information and created a website that has some of those locations on it.
Right. And to interrupt you on that, just so we're clear, is that has never been a secret. Jeff Page will attest.
We would talk about you.
When I created there is a website called princecelebration.com. I own that domain name. I don't know how I got it. I just did. princecelebration.com, and I came across that brochure that you had created that had a lot. I think this is like probably the 10th generation of it because it was really not great quality on the things. I was like, I can't even read the number. But I was just like, this would be really, really cool to have this online. And so I not only used that as like some of the core for some of the details on it, but it was so people could actually pull it up on the website, and then it would actually have a map, and they would actually be able to see all these iconic locations on there. And it was just like a little silly labor of love. And then of course, when I went, I added a bunch of things to it, and the people added a bunch of things to it, and it just kind of became its own little thing. But yes, that is a direct descendant of your work. So thank you for that. And go ahead.
Now we're going to take it to the next level of technology, and that's where Sarah comes into this. So Sarah and I met. I was doing sort of an impromptu tour in Minneapolis, and Sarah was there with some other people. And I mean, once you know Sarah, you love Sarah. She's just the best in so many ways. And so we became friends. And Sarah's a journalist and a travel writer, and really good at placemaking and storytelling. And we just started talking about what do we do with this information. And Sarah, maybe do you want to talk a little bit about the concepts?
Yeah, I mean, it's at the heart of it. Soundaround is a music audio tour app, and the whole idea is that we're going to actually take you there. So it geolocates you. Once you've got the app on your phone, it will tell you when you've arrived at that particular spot, and you will hear the tour information. And yeah, we've got, I don't know, a huge number of spots on the tour. Different sites from like Kristen has already mentioned, his childhood home, through to where he went to school in the north side. Then when he went off to the south side for schooling as well, there'll be all the more regular and well-known spots, perhaps like the Capri and First Avenue and places like that, and of course Paisley Park. But yeah, we've got a lot of the spots that people don't know so much about, and sometimes those where there's been some confusion around them as well in the past, where people thought they knew where he grew up and things like that. So yeah.
And the beauty with this is all you need is your phone. So what we're going to be providing is an app that you download to your phone. The app itself is free. And then it is, for purchase for the tourists, because we have to support the technology and do all that, because we're going through a company that then, stores all the data. And like Sarah said, it's GPS driven, and it will take you to these different places. But there's a couple things that we think are really great selling points. One is, while in-person tours are awesome, they don't always, go off according to schedule. If not enough tickets sell, if the weather is really poor, if something happens to the bus, you may not be able to do it. It may also not fit in with your schedule. We all know Celebration is jam-packed. of what this app will do is once you download it, you'll have it for the whole time you're in Minneapolis on your phone. And you can be like, okay, today I've got 4 events, but I'm up here on the north side, so I can go check out these properties. And then tomorrow I'm going to be out at Paisley Park, or maybe out on the Boatquake tour, so I can jump over to where the Dirty Mind album was recorded because I'm right in the neighborhood. So you can see more sites and do it on your own schedule and on your own time. Still get the expert content, because at each spot you will hear the narration and the storytelling of what happened, you know, what Prince's connection was to the place.
And that is really freaking awesome. And because the actual site itself, the princecelebration.com site, was just an online version. You could actually still pull it up on your phone and everything, but it didn't give you that. It didn't give you that full audio, and that is still an operational site. And I do want to add this. This does not have to do. Well, actually, I'll add it in a second. When is Soundaround going to be available?
Yeah.
Next month. So it will be ready in time for Celebration. Absolutely. Yes. So we'll have a Prince tour launching in time for Celebration, and also a Minneapolis Sound tour too.
Right.
So my question is, do you get a male voice or a female voice? You know?
It better be Sarah's voice. She's got.
You want my
otherwise
voice?
it's like, I'll volunteer. Like, hello, here you are. You know?
You know, Jeff, you could have been the guy. You could have recorded it for us.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know if you'd cope with my voice. Americans often don't understand me, I've found. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and to recap, for those that are just walking in, because I see I'm looking at the site and also on the radio station as well, that there's like a lot of people that are online right now, and it is a brand new app that is going to be released next month in time for the celebration that you'll be able to download. Yes, the app will be free. It is going to be geolocating where you are in Minneapolis, and it will give you an audio tour. It is free, but there is going to be a paid component to it to kind of deal with, you know, some of the tours and whatnot. But now I do have a question though regarding that. What if I'm sitting here in Atlanta and I just want to hear about the tour without having to physically go?
That's the beauty. You can do it. You can, again, download the app, purchase that tour content, and you can listen to the stories. You can drive it on Google Map or however you want to do it. So that's the beauty of it too. If you can't make it this year, you know, it's a way to experience it. Yeah,
virtual tours are definitely a thing. We've all been doing that since the pandemic struck as well, haven't we? And yeah, that's definitely another option. And some people just can't make it, you know, to Minnesota, but yeah, they can certainly check it out. Check out all of those locations still. Oh, who's that? The one. Thank you.
I'm not sure, but they met you at the celebration last year, and they're looking forward to the app.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and now here's the other thing too. This is what I was going to say before I stop myself, because I don't want to interrupt the flow of you announcing what Soundaround is about. But speaking to princecelebration.com, as just kind of a little bit of a side note, Kristen and I kind of talked a little bit offline, and she is actually willing to go in and fix my errors on princecelebration.com. She was like, you know, sir, you do a piss poor job at my information up.
Did you say that?
No,
really?
On the inside, she said it.
But what's great is that, you know, again, that was her brochure that was available at Electric Fetus in a bunch of different locations. That was like kind of like the source of where it kind of started. It was like, this would be great online. This is an even better part of it. But what's even awesome is that she's going to actually go in and kind of make adjustments to that. We don't want to have anything that conflicts with what's going on with Soundaround for sure. So, you know, we definitely want to make sure of that, but she's at least going to kind of make some adjustments. Also, Bonnie Freshour, who makes this huge spreadsheet every year with all the events that are happening around town. She's actually also going to go into princecelebration.com, and she's going to load up all the events that are happening around for Celebration too. Soundaround that's not something that Soundaround does, but that's actually really, really cool that when you're in Minneapolis for the celebration, you can go to princecelebration.com and you can see all the events that are going on in and around Minneapolis during the celebration. And also we're going to get up the events also for the small event, I guess, that will be happening during the anniversary of his passing up in Minneapolis as well. But that's a really, really cool. But the most important thing is that just in time for the celebration, this Soundaround app is going to be available for everybody, so that when you're in Minneapolis, you load this thing on your phone, you're going to go to different places and you can just click it and get whole story on it. And Sarah said she's not reading it. Yeah, well, yeah.
Bonnie's list is awesome as well, by the way. Thank you, Bonnie. You have sorted us out many, many times in the past. Yeah. Always got us covered, hey?
I mean, but
we've got an event to add to that too. Yes.
We're going to be having a launch party. So we're going to share that with Bonnie so that people can come. Sarah, do you want to talk about what we're going to be doing?
Yes, we're going to be having a lot of fun, actually. There's going to be a bit of trivia, a bit of karaoke. Anyone fancy a bit of Prince karaoke?
Of course.
Yeah, we all like a good sing song to Prince,
sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we're having it on June 4th, so it's a bit early in the week, but hopefully, there'll be some people in town a bit earlier on, and also locals as well. Any Minnesota residents there want to pop in. We're going to be having it from around 7 to 9 at Bunkers. Just before Dr. Mambo's combo come on, and so they're the best. Just so the most incredible band. Yeah, so I'm super excited that we're going to be hanging out with them. Yeah.
We'll probably have a few tours to give away and a few things, so we'll add it to Bonnie's list, and we hope everybody can stop by and help us celebrate this. And also, even though we know we're all focused on Prince, and that is where Sarah and I wanted to start with our tours. Someday we do plan for this to go global. We wanna do tours around the world. We were both in Berlin recently, so we were tracking down sites of Berlin's music history. We've got the connection with Sarah in London, so there's more to come in the future for Soundaround. But for now, we had to start where our heart was, and that was with Prince.
Absolutely.
And I do want to mention this.
Make it your favorite app when you travel.
I do want to mention this because this shouldn't be a competitive thing, I guess, but there was a recent edition of Shark Tank where somebody came on with an app that did kind of what Soundaround did, but it was for cross-country traveling, so that when you're driving through states, you would hear like the history of like the area that you're in and whatever. And I thought that's pretty interesting idea. The same thing was kind of like almost like a fee-based scenario. So I like this idea much better because I don't think there's talks about Prince at all.
What's the point?
What's the point? Throw the app away at that point. But there's going to be, what other artists are now? You were going to be focusing on music, obviously, but besides Prince, I thought I had read something to the effect that you're also going to be doing a Beatles tour. And what other artists were you planning on covering on Soundaround?
Well, right now, Prince, and then the Minneapolis Sound, where we're going to be focusing on Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Janet Jackson, Morris Day, all the great artists. But then, we've talked about a Bob Dylan tour in Minnesota. We've talked about the whole rock punk scene with like Husker Du and the Replacements. But, like I said, Berlin, we were both just there, and we were gathering information about, the Bowie and Iggy Pop and U2 and, all that. And we'd love feedback from people too. Like if there are artists you're crazy about, like we want to hear.
Want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you want to, see another tour? I mean, U2's also, you've kept that down a bit, Kristen, but U2 is also high up there on the list for Kristen, especially. So a U2 tour of Dublin. Yeah. And then the Beatles, Bowie for London, Bowie Queen. Yeah. I've got an endless list for London as well. So
a couple of years ago, my husband and I went to Dublin to see U2 in Dublin because I've seen them a lot, but I wanted to see them in Dublin. And when we were there, I was like, I want to take a U2 tour. and there weren't any, which shocked me. So I did my own research and I found sites, and we hired a cab driver to like drive us around. And this guy was like, "Want to take pictures outside the school where they all met?" And I'm like, yes. And I bet other U2 fans want to do this too. So that again, was part of this idea. Our generation, we love our pop stars. We're tied to music. We're tied to people who are tied to places. And we want to experience things. So that's what Soundaround is going to deliver.
I got so jealous because my brother-in-law just is in London right now, and he just got to see Elton John at the O2 Arena on this final tour, and I guess he's still doing, I guess, a run there in London right now, and he just got to see him. Was like, "You saw Elton John in London on his final tour. You suck." John's probably amazing. On that list too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. I know it's late where you are. We're so excited. Please make sure that when you are ready to do the launch party for this app, that we are somewhere at the top of the list so that we can make sure that we spread the word and get you guys serious downloads.
Yeah, come on over as well, because we need to be singing. We need you there. You be there in fine voice, a pair of you. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right,
I'll keep my vocals ready for you.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
And if people are on social media, we're new on all platforms, so we'd love it if you'd follow on Soundaround Tours. We are on everything, so pick your poison, and please follow us there for news of the event and everything. Really,
that's a good point. Where can people follow? Where is that at?
Soundaround Tours.
Soundaround Tours. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We're all over the place.
And our website.
And then our website. Yeah, soundaroundtours.com.
Soundaroundtours.com, and then search for anything on any of the socials for Soundaround Tours. Thank you guys for joining us. This is awesome. So excited. Can't wait to download this thing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And thanks for fitting us in early as well. I can go to bed. Actually, I'll be listening though. I'll still be checking out what you're talking about. I do tune in. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. So there you have it. Brand new app that is going to be coming. It's going to be available before the celebration, where you're going to be able to load it on your phone and drive past iconic locations in Minneapolis that had to do with Prince's life, and you're going to be able to hear stories and whatnot. Again, PrinceCelebration.com is a website that I set up years ago, where I took Kristen's brochure and I kind of put it into digital format with a map, so you could actually have driving directions from locations, actually got pictures and stuff. And I wanted to do a bunch more with it, but obviously with everything that I do, I just simply just don't have the bandwidth. So it's really awesome that Kristen is going to be coming in and actually we're actually meeting, and we're showing her how to actually make those changes to the site. Perfect. She's going to go in and she's going to change everything, update stuff. She said there's a couple erroneous things that are on there. She's going to fix those. And then on top of that, as I said, Bonnie Freshour is going to come into the website as well. Again, princecelebration.com. Bonnie's going to come into the website, and she's actually going to load in all the events for the celebration that's coming up. So not only will you see the events that are going on during the celebration for the Paisley Park stuff, I don't know if that's part of it or not, but I'll load this in if she doesn't, but she does all the events that are outside of Paisley Park. So all the concerts that are going on in and around that time. And she's got an amazing spreadsheet that you can find. Again, I think, believe it or not, I think I have facebook.com/groups/Prince Celebration. I don't know how I get these domains. I just did it and was like, that's available. Why is that available?
And at least now we have a full-on web designer, and they'll clean it up, and that's perfect. That's just great. We'll keep it active.
Yeah, they're going to make
between that. What's that?
I said they're going to go in and make it right.
Yeah,
so.
Between that and the app, I mean, there's just no reason to miss anything, or at least you will know what you missed if your schedule does not allow and can make up for it. So that's wonderful. I love it.
And the other thing too is that if you download the Funked Up app, you can have 24/7 Prince music playing while you're driving around from location to location. You can have just jam out on 24/7 Prince. Many of you don't know that, but we have an ASCAP licensed Prince radio station. You can just go to the Apple Store or go to Google Play Store and search for Funked Up, FUNKEDUP. My daughter named it Funked Up, and look for that app and download it. It's got a 24/7 Prince radio station and another radio station, a 24/7 funk music radio station, which plays everything, not only Prince and other Minneapolis sound artists, but also Jamiroquai and Parliament Funkadelic and Earth, Wind and Fire and Ohio Players. And so all funk, 2 radio stations in one app. You can switch between the two, and it's free. It's completely free. It is supported by Patreon supporters and, of course, your donations and whatnot. Jeff will run the scroll, but you can actually support the radio station, and that's because of Patreon supporters is the only reason why that radio station exists. Again, because of the fact that it is ASCAP licensed, we do have to pay fees every single time we play songs from an artist. So it's just that's the rules. You're playing a song, you got to pay to play. That's right. So it's based on how many people listen and the amount of minutes they listen and who they listen and what you play. And it's like, ugh.
Right. And thank you guys, because your support allows us to keep going and keep doing this. So
yes,
we look forward to continued support and more growth.
Yeah. So download it. It's free. That's available now. The Soundaround tour is coming soon, next month. She said we hope to have it done by June when I talked to her. And then we just had that interview. She said next month. I was like, if it's just buy yourself a little bit of time. What if some shit goes wrong?
Maybe she had some new information that it went right.
All right, so let's get to the core of this. That did actually have to do with the celebration, because if you are planning to go to Minneapolis for the Prince celebration, June 8th through 11th in Minneapolis, well, actually technically in Chanhassen, we're going to talk about, you're going to be able to have that app. So it does kind of fit into the core of what we're discussing here. So it's all good. And I wanted to get them on earlier again because she's London time and it's really late. And I didn't want to prep till, just join us at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning your time. It's just,
just roll on in when you have a chance. We'll be here.
You can leave the curlers in. It's fine.
Right. The cucumbers on the eyes. We don't care.
So my name is... So, all right. So we're going to talk about the celebration now, which everybody wants to talk about. And I tried to put this in some type of, not really a chronological order, but just in kind of like some semblance of order that we can kind of talk through this, because there's a lot of feedback. I did do some talking about this on social media, Twitter, Facebook and whatnot, and said, hey, tell me what you want me to talk about, what you kind of want to dive into, but let's talk about the new details. But before we dive into this, let's briefly talk about the artwork for these events. Because one of the things I kind of found a little bit interesting. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't load them. That's all right. I can do that real quick while I'm yammering. But essentially every year, and I don't know if they do this every year, it seems like this is the first time. I want to say this is probably the first time that I actually saw the announcement about this competition for for creating the artwork. I don't remember seeing this. This seems to be like the first year. Maybe they just did it underneath the radar before, but this time around they seem to be doing. They announced that they made this big announcement, but. Anyways, every single year they do the celebration posthumously since 2017, 18, 19. There wasn't one in 20. There wasn't one in 21, 22. They've had different artwork for each one. The most unusual one was from 2018. I'm going to show this one here. This is from 2018. This is the only one that was out. This is the only piece of artwork for the celebration that was out of the norm. This was a little bit unusual. Just because it didn't feature the love symbol, and it didn't feature Paisley Park.
Right.
It's just very, very different.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like different because technically, again, this is 2018 and it was the first one. Well, it was actually the second one, posthumously, but it was the first one that was vastly different from the others. Now, I'm going to switch this because this is, you notice some similarities here. 2017, 2019, and 2022. This was the design. Not a whole bunch of variety here. It essentially is Paisley Park on the bottom. It looks like they use the same font.
Right.
Maybe a little bit different in 22. It looks like maybe a wider font. Same font, but maybe it looks wider, but the R looks the same.
It's really close.
It's really, really close. It's really, really close. But the design structure is pretty much the same. It's symbol, Paisley Park, that's so you could obviously see that it was very, very similar and that they kind of had a certain look. So I want to say congratulations to the winner for this year because, he won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here is the celebration for the design for 2023. Now, first off, again, congratulations to the UK-based artist, Tora Borealis, who won the art contest for the Prince celebration, and he pretty much maintained that same layout, and he incorporated that the 7 into the symbol, and he kind of worked out a soft background. And I hope I pronounce this right. I hope that spell check didn't change his last name into something else, but I may have typed out his last name and it said auto chain to Borealis.
It said nope.
So somebody look, it may be wrong. But anyways, many that may know this, but Tora, the gentleman who created this, he's also the creator of the website 500printsongs.com. If you've ever been to that website, he started that back in 2016 to kind of share his favorite 500 Prince songs. And it's a pretty cool site if you haven't seen it, but he also does a lot of work and a lot of animations on his Instagram page. And I've actually shared some of his Instagram page work. And it is, it's pretty phenomenal. Let me see if I can share a tab with some of his stuff on here. Let me see if I can do this because this is crazy. Let me show you some of his work. I've shared it before, some of his stuff. Check this out.
This is a great design too. This is great.
Well, and this is it's actually a video file is actually what it is. So if you look at this,
man.
Well, hold on. Look, this is how it starts. Look at this. I mean, just the animation and stuff that he's creating is stunning.
Smoking.
And there's a lot of these that he's actually done. And this guy that did this is animation, he's the same. It's 500 Prince songs together. So if you want to follow him on Instagram, he's got tons of these types of animations. He did one for Shaka Khan and Shaka Khan's birthday. But he's got a lot of these animations.
Wow.
And it's stunning. It really is stunning. I mean, if you actually look at his page, there's it's just so many of them. There's I guess he did this one too. He did for Apollonia.
Oh man.
So it's just amazing to me the amount of detail and the amount of work and how much I think sometimes if you get an artist that's like insanely proficient that can create, because you got to think about this animation. How many frames is this? Hundreds of frames of.
Right.
So anyways, it goes to show that if he can just focus on one frame, then he'll come up with some pretty amazing.
Even that logo of his is amazing.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And this is his work. Yeah, his animations are fantastic. They said, "Let's see Vanity." I think he did have a Vanity animation.
Yeah, I think so.
There's so much out there. Just follow him. Just go to Instagram and search for 500 Prince songs on Instagram, and you can see all of his animations. He's got lots of really cool, stuff out there. Definitely check it out. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I will.
I like it. I like it.
Just for an exciting. But congratulations to him. Oops, I don't mean to show that yet. All right, so let's talk about the celebration itself. I wanted to talk about that because you got this graphic behind me, and obviously we just showed it, and so it kind of felt like it deserved to give recognition to the artist that created it, like we should every single time. I asked for questions on Facebook and Twitter, and overwhelmingly, I know that there was a lot of not positive feedback. So let me start I want to start this by saying that this is not going to be a bashing session. We're going to address some things. Yeah, we're going to address some things. We're going to talk about some stuff that was some feedback and whatnot. But this is serving to be an informative session with what we know, and I will address those things. I'm not going to avoid what you guys said. I'm still going to talk about what you guys have said, but because of the fact that a lot of people, the estate, and Paisley Park know me and know Jeff and know Funkatopia, because as many people don't know, you may be new to Funkatopia, but Funkatopia is not new. Funkatopia started in 2004. And so next year will be our 20th anniversary. So for many of those years, we just sat and spun the wheels and spun the wheels and spun the wheels and didn't really get any traction because I couldn't really figure out the direction that I wanted to go until it got Prince's attention. And then he started talking about the website. And I was just like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. Like he does with all artists. He like says, you know what you'd be good at? This.
Right.
And that's essentially what happened with Funkatopia. Once he started, giving us a little bit of direction and it became the beast that it is. And it's great. So next year will be the 20th anniversary. We plan to do something really, really cool. I just have no idea what it is. But there are some things in the works. So we'll talk about that. But anyways, so all that being said, as far as the negative feedback, I will sprinkle in that feedback as we go, as it applies to what we discuss as we go through all this, because I know that people at the park and the estate watch these broadcasts, and a lot of people know that, and then they reach out to me to communicate some of their feelings. I'm feeling some sort of way,
right?
To kind of incorporate into some of these shows. So it's important that they have their finger on the pulse of what people are saying.
Right. Yeah. Don't get us wrong. We understand that they're negative. We're not saying you can't talk, what you're feeling and express whatever it is, because like Mr. Christopher said, Paisley Park and the estate, everyone, they need to know, they need to hear these things, because the only way they can grow is by hearing what the people are looking for and what we're seeing and what we're feeling as well. So we get that. However, at the same time, in order for something to grow and improve, we're going to look at the positive directions that we can go, as opposed to focusing on those, on the negativity there. So just that's the point of what we're talking about.
I mean, the reality of it is they don't really have to watch us to kind of find this stuff out. You don't have to dig deep into social media to find out some of this stuff. And they don't. A lot of times people on social media will attack people and saying, why isn't this happening? And why isn't this going? Why aren't we getting new music? And why don't we blah, 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 blah. And they're just like kind of attacking, but the people that they're attacking have nothing to do with it. We're going to talk about that too. So we're going to address all these things as we kind of get into it. So let's get into it, shall we? It's the Paisley Park Prince Celebration 2023, the 2017, 2018, 2019, 2022, the fifth posthumous celebration since his passing, because we didn't do one in 2020 because of the pandemic, and they still weren't comfortable in 21. 5 years. This is the fifth one. It's going to happen June 8th through 11th. And ready? Here are the prices. You guys have probably already seen. You guys have already seen the pricing, but it's going to show them to you anyways. Here's the pricing. Ready? Okay. So,
breathe.
Hachikuri. I don't know what hachikuri means. It's like Cilia. Is that more Prince centric? VIP diamond, VIP pearl, general admission diamond, and general admission pearl. So obviously we have a little bit of a diamond and pearls theme going on. Essentially, again, the VIP. So this looks like what we're looking at is going to be 4 tracks, very similar to what they did in some previous celebrations. I don't know if the one that you went to last year had tracks, or maybe it had 2 tracks. I think it was 2. I think it was 2. But when there's 4, it's kind of like ship to do.
It's going to be a lot.
When people go in, people go out. In, people go out. But so it's not cheap. It's not. It's it's obvious. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
To be clear, the VIP Diamond was sold out. But as of today, just a few hours ago, I went onto the site to see is anything else sold out, and for some reason, now there were tickets available for VIP Diamond. So for a minute there, it was sold out, and now all of a sudden it was not sold out. Maybe it's sold out right now. If somebody wants to go, Cami, our producer, our in chat room producer, Cami Mattingly, if she can go to the site and maybe see if VIP is listed as sold out again. But previously it was sold out, and then it became available again about 5 o'clock, I guess, 5 or 6 o'clock. It became available again. So I don't know if people returned their tickets or what happened, but anyways, it's available again. I am going this year, and on a whim, I'm doing VIP Diamond this year. I've never done the celebration VIP. I've never done it. I've always done general admission, and I had a perfectly fine time. I've never really felt like, in the past, I've never really felt like, man, whatever, but I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it VIP this year. So I'm doing VIP Diamond this year. Jeff, what have you decided? Are you even going to go this year? Are you sitting it out? What's happening?
I plan on going. I just do not have control over whether I can go just yet. So I cannot commit, unfortunately. That's okay. So with that being said, it is not likely I will be VIP Diamond. I'll be hanging out with everyone, if I can make it. So, but I will keep you posted for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going VIP Diamond. That is a that is what it is. I am definitely going. Which is interesting because, again, I've never gone VIP, and I guess what's a little bit difficult to swallow, like many people, is just like, why am I spending this much money when I don't even know what I'm getting? And that was like an overwhelming consensus with a lot of people. Was just like, I haven't even seen the lineup. I don't know what's going on. I don't, and I get that. I get that. Trust me. As I'm typing in the credit card going, I'm like, what the am I putting my credit card number in here for when I don't know what it is, and the expiration date is I don't know. So I get it. So what do we know? So let's talk about what we do know. So how are they explaining it? How are they explaining it? Let's talk about how they're explaining it. All right. This is what's on the website page, but email is very, very similar, but it does not have that second paragraph about the number 7. So we'll read this together like you're following along in church. Here we go. The annual gathering of Prince fam brings together people from all over the world to honor Prince's life, creative works, and outstanding legacy, and share stories about his creative and cultural impact. The number 7 was incredibly important to Prince, who was born on June 7th, 1958, and would reference the number in significant ways throughout his immense body of work, including his song 7, which is it's not like a celebratory song. It's talking about the 7 falling. But this year marks 7 years of uplifting Prince's legacy and carefully preserving his prolific artistic output and his creative sanctuary. At Celebration 2023, guests will take a deep dive into understanding the cultural significance of 7 and how it has been reflected throughout history. We believe that Prince was the heart of what would become one of the most creative and talented communities in the world. This year, we want to highlight how you, the fam, are continuing the legacy in numerous ways. There will be opportunities to share how your contribution to Prince's legacy has impacted others, time for creative expression, and a featured panel highlighting some incredible community members making a global impact. 2023 celebration will once again include live music, celebrity panels, in-studio recording sessions, and special opportunities to see and hear historical Prince performances. And of course, general GA and VIP tickets on sale now. Sign up below, blah, 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 blah. Do not sign up there. If you already got an email, I get whenever they send out an email, I get 6 of them because they don't they don't whittle them out. So I keep thinking, oh, I'll sign up for this. Oh, it's the same thing I'm already getting, and they're not gonna not like a same one. So let's talk about some of these things though, because I think what's significant here is some of the things that they're alluding to. For instance, we want to highlight in that third paragraph this year, we want to highlight how you, the fam, are continuing the legacy in numerous ways. So there seems to be at some point in time during this, and I think that I remember seeing this on the Show Clicks website, I think, had mentioned that there were going to be featured panels. I'm not sure if I captured that or not. Yeah, I did. Hold on a second. I did pull this up. So there was going to be live music, celebrity panels, in-studio recording sessions. We already know that part. Featured panels talk about 7, the number 7, the numerology of 7 for Prince. Featured panels talking about Diamonds and Pearls, Prince and hip hop, and Prince fam legacy. Along with the Paisley Park highlights, Prince fan testimonials, a Prince legacy tribute to Rosie Gaines. There has been discussion of whether or not she would actually appear. If she did, I doubt that she's going to. I doubt that she would sing. She might make an appearance and say hello and wave or whatever. I don't even know if she's going to be there. I have no idea. I have no idea. I know nothing.
It would be wonderful.
And as far as VIP, what you're paying, double general admission. I hope it's just more than just the exclusive studio experiences. But there's more to it, obviously. Right. Anyways, it's kind of unusual. I know that people were not really as interested in the panels. And this is what they've said. This is part of the feedback that we've received multiple times. They've said, kind of, we would like maybe less panels and just more music. Just give us music. We'll just play music and videos and stuff like the whole. I'm okay with the panels. But I know a lot of people are like anti. They're not anti panels. They're just like, we're cool with the panels, just not so many panels. Because the way the celebrations are set up, it's pretty much panels all day, and then a live band at night.
Yeah,
and that's,
and I think the issue with the panels isn't that panels are anything negative. It's just when there's a music related conference, there's always people to talk about the things and how things came about. Hence the panels. So I get that people are like, but the history and the way the music came about is important. I mean, that's how people learned about how the shoes were made. For example, I'm sorry, I don't have a bazillion shoes. I don't care about that. But to find out how they specifically made those so he could jump up and down off of stuff and not break whatever, an ankle or heel or anything. I mean, that's interesting stuff. So these panels are important, regardless. And besides, once you get through the panel, then you get to the meat, so.
Right. Yeah. He wasn't buying those high heels at Shoe Carnival.
Right.
Like
right. But I understand people not wanting panels. I always think panels are interesting because I like to know who's behind what and hear what they have to say. I mean, don't you read the liner notes? And a lot of people do. You want to know who wrote this and who did that. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if you're trying to assess exactly some of the things that are happening, you get with this, it's mostly panels right now because they haven't really kind of discussed. And I'm interested on this Prince fam legacy and Prince fan testimonials. I guess one thing I've always wondered about, I'm always curious about, is why out of all the celebrations, they've never done a panel for Prince centric broadcast like Funkatopia. Why not have like a panel that has Funkatopia and Michael Dean and Dr. Funkenberry,
right?
And have an entire a group of podcasters that will go. I mean, it seems like an obvious one, and this seems like a good fit for it. I don't know what we would say or what we were talking about, but I mean, there's plenty we can talk about. We can talk for hours, but you know, I think this is going to be interesting as far as the Prince fam legacy and the Prince fan testimonials. I'm curious as how that's actually going to work.
Right.
But anyways, that was that's the expectations. Go ahead.
Right. And I suspect it'll be interesting, the opportunity, because in my mind, if you're doing a fam thing, that's going to be the people who are out there broadcasting or doing other things and talking about what inspired them. The fan testimony should be really interesting because that is about the people. How they select who goes up there and gets to talk should be very, very interesting, because now people will get to talk their story.
Samantha says $1,000 a pop to listen to podcasters that you can listen to from home. No, I'm not saying that we would be the only focus of the show. I'm just saying,
wait, you wouldn't pay $1,000 to listen to us, Samantha?
Come on now.
What?
You can leave now, ma'am. Just kidding.
I think I'm gonna need a drink.
Let's all drink now. What the? All right now.
Complain about $1,000 you can listen to,
ma'am. I think we're I don't know what you're talking about. We're Southern bred Prince fans here, young lady.
You need to pay.
You need to. No, just kidding.
She's like, I can get those guys for free. What I need to pay money for?
I wouldn't pay to see me either.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess.
Anyways,
that's the bootlegger mentality right there, Samantha. Thanks.
Talking out of turn, ma'am. Jeff, what I do want you to do, though, if you could go through and star some of the questions that people have, because there's a lot of comments that are like flying by.
Yeah, I'm watching them, but yeah, I'm a little offended and sad right now.
I'm not. They said,
I'm kidding, really.
For Jeff Page, $1,000, and be like, nah.
We need to have like we stand up on stage and start a bidding war, like pay for us.
I can't even make it through one of their podcasts, so
I'll pay you guys to come watch us. Maybe that's 3 hours.
No, I'm all about it. If we're going to be doing this, I love being. I love the entertainment part of it, but I see a lot of people commenting about the informative part of it too. Yeah, I want to learn something. And I love learning the little stories and hearing some of the funny stories, because Prince had, I mean, dozens and dozens of interactions every single day. And every single one of those interactions, a lot of times, had stories attached to them. And I love hearing those stories. So, it is what it is. So let me, before I go to this next slide, I want to preface this because we just kind of covered ground that a lot of people are primarily upset about, especially not knowing what the lineup is for that amount of money. It has to do with the pricing versus what you receive, which at this point is unknown. You don't know what you're getting. I don't know what you're paying for, blah, blah, blah. I get it. As of today, April 11th, the tickets were put up for sale at those prices that we indicated, but no announcements have been made regarding the lineup. None. We're starting here. We're going to start here at a speed bump for a lot of people. This is the speed bump between I'm going to the celebration, I'm staying my butt home. This is like the gully. This is the big issue that people are having. People have asked me if I know anything, and honestly, I don't. I have a couple of guesses that I think are really, really good guesses as to who's going to be performing, but I'm not going to share that because I don't like to be publicly wrong.
Right, they are guesses.
That's what they're considered as guesses. But here is my hypothesis: why they haven't announced a lineup yet. The primary, aka the main acts, probably, again, this is just a hypothesis, the main acts that would be the headliners probably have not signed on the dotted line.
Right.
They probably have some people and acts booked and signed, but it's not enough to warrant announcing it, because that would send people into a tizzy going, well, I'm not paying to come see that.
Right.
Kind of like what just happened.
Right.
So it's better to wait until everything is locked in and announce it all at once, and make sure that when you see it, you respond accordingly. Again, that is just my guess, my hypothesis, not factual, but most likely reality. But I did want to show you one example of an event that is happening in July. What were you going to say?
I have my own
Okay.
hypothesis of what's going on here.
What's your hypothesis? My hypothesis.
My a little quiet there, but I actually think that the reason they're not announcing everything is because of fear. They don't want to pull a Taylor Swift and break the internet and not be able to sell their tickets. That's what's going to happen. As soon as they say everyone's going to be there, the world's going to sign up and the world's going to try to go, and the internet's going to break and they won't be able to sell tickets.
I don't think that'll happen.
That's a bunch of BS, but I felt like saying it.
Nah, because
I just felt like saying it.
I see where you're going with that one. I know who you're trying to impress with that. So yeah. We got you, Paisley Park.
Wink.
I wanted to show you one example of an event that is happening in July, a month after, not only it's almost 2 months after, because it's at the end of July, that is happening in Napa Valley that someone shared with me. It's been on when this came into whole discussion. Anyways, let me just show this to you, okay? Before I show this to you, let me preface this with this. Tickets to this event that I'm about to show you are about the same price as general admission to Paisley Park's event. Okay. But we're going to talk about this, so nobody get upset. Don't start sending bomb threats or whatnot. But look at this. This is happening in Napa Valley.
Yeah.
July 28th through 30th, Blue Note Jazz Festival with Robert Glasper, De La Soul, Bilal, Layla Hathaway, hosted by Dave Chappelle, Mary J. Blige, Nas, Chance the Rapper, Anderson .Paak, Ari Lennox, Gary Clark Jr., Parliament Funkadelic and George Clinton, Rakim and DJ Jazzy Def, Talib Kweli and Madlib, Michelle and Degucella. I'm just skipping over here, reading some of the bigger names, obvious names. Diggable Planets, BJ the Chicago Kids, Soul Live, Soul Rebels, Corey Henry, Mono Neon, Taylor McFerrin with his dad, Bobby McFerrin, also going to be there. Just what the holy shenanigans. Under Lacilia. That's just insane. All right. So this costs the same as the general admission for Paisley Park. But now, before Paisley Park gets all upset with me and says, why would you show something like that, you fucking idiot? Let me be clear. Let's talk about a couple things here. All right. The first thing is I'm going to take that down because every minute that it's up, I get another hate email. It's not a comparison. Keep in mind, for that event in the Napa Valley, there will be tens of thousands of people there.
Right.
Tens of thousands of people. Paisley Park can't get anywhere near that amount of people there, hence the price. Right. Blue Note at that event will sell hundreds of thousands of dollars in t-shirts. Paisley Park can't. They can't get that many people into that venue. They can't sell that many t-shirts. The Blue Note event will also sell hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in food and drinks and alcohol and upsell items. Paisley Park will not. Paisley Park is small. Paisley Park is not as big as some folks think it is. If you've never been to Paisley Park, the sound stage Now, I want to be really, really clear where I'm getting this where I got this information from, because I wanted to look it up because I didn't want to give you erroneous information. This is on the Paisley Park website at paisleypark.com/rentals. You can look it up yourself, but the soundstage area can hold 1,000 people standing. 1,000 people. If they're seated in chairs, which they will be at this event, they can only seat 400 in that soundstage area. There's a soundstage area, and then right next to it is the NPG Music Club area. There's a makeshift wall it's not makeshift. You can slide it out and you can open up the whole entire area. But NPG Music Club area, you can add 200 people standing, and if they're seated, about 75. Again, you want to verify this? paisleypark.com/rentals. It's got all the information there. For those doing the math, in that main area of the soundstage and the NPG Music Club area, that's a total of about 1,200 people if they are all standing. They're not going to be standing for this event. This event will be seated. If they're seated, the total area for that whole area is 500. I thought it was more than that, but apparently it's not, because when they're seated, the way they kind of space things out, I guess for fire reasons or whatever. That means they can have 500 people in that area, in that main area there. Now, obviously you can have people moving through the whole entire building if the people are wandering and whatnot, that's a little bit different. But that essentially means that they can have 500 people in there at one time per track. So based on these 4 ticket levels, again, I'm assuming they're going to do 4 tracks, I assume, with the VIP Diamond, VIP Pearl, and General Admission Diamond, General Admission Pearl. That means that 2,000 people will attend this event, and 500 times 4. And depending on who they get and what they'll charge to play, that's why the pricing is what it is.
Right. Because they have to pay for the venue.
Now, obviously, you're not paying for, 3 dozen acts that are all, asking for, tons and tons of money. Most of those bands, you'd be actually surprised. A lot of those bands play for really dirt cheap because they know that their performance there will lead to tons of record sales and merch sales. So they kind of strike deals and whatnot. Plus, on top of that, the other part of this for, Blue Note, places like Blue Note and things like that, is that there are no outside food. Well, last year, Paisley Park did have a few out, vendors. Strange selection.
Yeah, they had a couple of them. Yeah,
they had a couple of them. But there's no outside merch vendors selling Etsy bongs or artwork. It was just, it is what it is. Everything in Paisley Park is mostly self-contained. They have their own kitchen. They have their own store. But they also have a ton of expenses that are going to, not only do they got to, all the electricity and the building itself, and all the staff, general staff, security, sound engineers, performers, shuttle buses, etc. This is why the price points are what they are at this Paisley Park event. And it's just not comparable to an event like the Blue Note event. It's just not.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
plus you got to keep in mind that the fact that this is a museum. It's not just a building that you can go in and do anything. They have to cover the fact that there's some extremely valuable things in there, and you've got people all over the place. So there's a whole lot more to it than just, hey, come to my building and let's have a party. Forget that either.
Yeah. So it's a lot. And so, that's the reason why Blue Note can charge what they're charging, because they're going to have tens of thousands of people, not just 2,000. They're going to have tens of thousands of people. Plus, they've got all the advertisers, all the promoters, all the people that are going to be doing advertising, all the promotional folks. I mean, you've put on these events before. You get people that sponsors and whatnot, and you got
it's a lot of work.
Sponsors pay, but it's a lot of money that's coming in from a variety of different sources just to be, for them, those products and services to be present at this event.
Right.
And they can. And between that and the tens of thousands of people that come, is that Paisley Park is not that. And the only reason why I bring this up is because I kept seeing that thrown out there quite a bit about, well, I can spend that same amount of money and go to this. It's not the same thing. It's just not. I mean, yeah. Don't get me wrong. That event would be awesome, but it's not the same thing. For those that have not been to the celebration and you're trying to kind of, warn it in your mind, the whole really, it's the experience.
It is the experience. It is all about the experience.
100% the experience. It's the music, being in Prince's home, the panels, which you could be on either side of, but finding out new information. But more importantly, and more important than anything, and Jeff Page, I'll let you talk to this about, because last year was your first celebration that you went to, the camaraderie and the fellowship of being among other Prince fanatics. It's just amazing. Just kind of explain your first time at Paisley Park and
nope.
Experience. All right. Give me a second.
No,
I'll move on.
You're 100% correct. It is all about the camaraderie. It is such an amazing thing to be in a room full of people that everyone is completely accepting and open of no matter what. And we watched people miss their rides or couldn't get a drive here, and just family up. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to say you fammed up. They got together and formed carpools and got together to make sure everybody got to where they got to and looked out for each other. You're not going to find that anywhere. You're just not. And so it's just an amazing experience of being able to not let your hair down. Is that what it is?
Yeah, still walking into the first celebration when especially that going in and having a bunch of people just be like, "Oh, hey man, what's going on?" Even if they don't know you, but a lot of people knew me when I walked in. But it's just that you're standing in line for a rental car and people are like, "Hey, what's going on?" Christopher was like, "Oh, cool, man." It's just
right.
It's just. It is just the camaraderie. It's just there's nothing like it, because even if people don't know you, you will make friends. It is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
About this bubble analogy, and this is probably about the 100th time I've brought it up, but Prince fans, all of us Prince fans, for those new listeners, I'll do a quick version of this bubble analogy. Prince fans are in a bubble. We are all hardcore Prince fans, but the probability that you can go to work or go hang out with, various people that you may know or that you come in contact with or whatever, and find a Prince fan that is fanatically interested in Prince as much as you are, it's pretty slim.
Right.
That's the reason why that's the reason why we kind of collect ourselves into this bubble, because it's great to be able to surround yourself with people that feel as passionate about Prince's music and Prince's legacy as we are.
We can talk about the Love Sexy album and not feel weird.
It's like, yeah, but that cover though.
He was wearing pants.
Naked?
Last year, I saw people meeting for the first time at the celebration through people or whatever. And this year they're going together, like friendships that have just formed throughout the year. And now, it's just an amazing thing. So plus, what's the other thing to think about? We're talking about like Mr. Christopher said, it's all about the experience. You're paying for a specific thing. Some people pay a lot more for a particular handbag than something that's practical. So it's just complain about the cost doesn't make sense. Either you can afford it and that's not your bag, fine. But to complain about someone else spending money for something, come on, And I know, I would wear dirty mime clothes.
Yeah, and you can wear whatever you want. We've seen some crazy things, man. Because if you've got the wardrobe, wear it.
I look pretty good with less clothes on, just whether you know it or not. I'm just saying.
I don't, but that's fine. I could wear it if I wanted to. If I want to wear it. People would rather look at the rusty mattress behind me than
it won't be Paisley Park, it'll be Paisley Drive Away.
Well, here's the thing too. If you can't afford it, there is a sweepstakes that's going on. If you'd like to go, there is a sweepstakes. You can go to store.prince.com you go to store.prince.com, and I think they've got a sweepstakes link that's there. But I think the full URL is store.prince.com/page/sweepstakes. Seems a little more confusing than it needs to be. But if you go to store.prince.com, they probably have a link to the sweepstakes that you can enter for a chance to win tickets, a couple of tickets to this. If you can't afford it, then prayer up and give it a shot. So all that being said, when we're going to talk about people being upset of things that aren't really relevant, like talking about, well, they promised us new music. Okay, that doesn't have to do with the celebration. So, but we're going to talk about it anyways because a lot of people were talking about it. So therefore, we'll talk about it. And Jeff Page is going through the chat area here, and he's starring some things that we'll address. We're going to get to that part of we're going to get to that part.
A lot of different comments.
We're going to talk about a lot of different comments, and if it's any questions in there, we're going to address the questions as they come. If there are questions that align with what we're talking about, Jeff, just let me know, and we'll insert them where needed. So let's talk about some details. Now that more information has been released. So I've talked about this in the previous celebration, but I didn't create a map. And I kind of feel like I needed to create a map because you guys need to see a map. A map. A map. It's a map. It's a map. It's a map. It's a map. Okay,
it's a map.
It's a map. I'm going to show you a map. Here we go. Here is a map.
Hey, what is that?
It's a map. It's a map of essentially Hennepin County, which is what the county that a lot of these places exist in. And it's important that I put up this map. It's important that I put up this map because it's important to the announcements that they made. I'm going to talk about this. First off, I want to talk about. Yeah, I'm actually going to do this a little bit of out of order there. We're going to talk about the hotels here. As you can tell, right where it says Minneapolis, right here in the middle of this map. I'm sorry for you fine folks that are on the radio station. You might there's a visual component over here. Yes, Paisley Park is technically Carver County, correct. This is primarily it's Paisley Park is kind of like right over there. It's right there on the cusp. Actually, I thought Chanhassen was in Hennepin County. Could be wrong. Anyways, yeah, that little red line is kind of where the county line kind of moves. Anyways,
Gotcha.
this is not to scale. Okay, so everybody, don't get your panties in a twist. We're gonna work through this.
I was going to say that's a really small plane.
Yeah, it is
a large plane.
So where that plane is, right over where Bloomington is on the map, is where the airport is. Again, roughly. We're not like, working this out. Right north of that, where it says Minneapolis, guess what? That's Minneapolis. But right above the E is a W. That stands for the W Hotel, the Fauché, that is in downtown Minneapolis. And right not too far from it is First Avenue. About a few blocks away is First Avenue, the 7th Street entry, which is happening there. The W is one of the host hotels of the celebration event. Trust me, all the feedback and unpositive things that you guys want to discuss, we still got some of that stuff in the lineup. We'll get there in a minute. I want to kind of go down this route. So that's there. Now go back down to where the airplane is, right over Bloomington. Again, that's where the airport is. Over to the west of that is the Hilton. That is the other host hotel, or not really the host hotel. The first one, I think, let me pull this up. The first one that they have called that the preferred partner. W Hotel Minneapolis is the preferred partner, is how they're addressing it. The supporting partner hotel is the Hilton, the one that's to the west of that little airplane there. That is the supporting hotel. So both of these are technically the hotels. I guess the W will probably be the host hotel. So many of the performers and panelists and whatever,
right,
are probably going to be housed there at the W. But before you go a booking, let's let's talk about some of this stuff first before you go booking. I want to be very, very clear on some specifics here. Let's talk about the W Hotel. Remember, I said that First Avenue is pretty close to the W Hotel. So if First Avenue is going to be like a primary focus, that's like the main thing you want to go to. I don't even care about the celebration. I want to go to First Avenue. There are 2 events that are going to be happening at First Avenue. Well, actually, I'm sorry. One event that's going to be happening at First Avenue that is Prince related, and that is on the 7th. So that's on the Wednesday. And that is an event called the Dance Electric, and it's got Dudley D, and they're going to be performing at First Avenue, celebrating the music of Prince. It's happening at First Avenue. That's it. That's all that's happening at First Avenue. That is Prince related. However, this is really good and not Prince related. And I actually saw this and was like, oh my God. June 8th at Excel Energy, which is right across the street from First Avenue, The Cure is playing. Their tour is hitting Minneapolis right there. I'm sorry. I was a little bit of a new wave kid, but The Cure is playing on the night of June 8th. However, that is the first day of the celebration. So the likelihood that something is not happening is unlikely. So I'm just going to go see The Cure here in Atlanta and call it what it is. But those are really the only 2 events, big, really cool events that are happening right there in Minneapolis on those days. Now, I will say this. Again, Bonnie Freshour has an amazing spreadsheet that's got a bunch of events that are happening externally during Minneapolis during this whole time window. And she is going to be going on to princecelebration.com and entering all those things. So you'll be able to see all the events that are happening at the, Minneapolis Music Cafe. It's Minnesota Music Cafe. I can't remember I think it's Minnesota Music Cafe. Anyways, all the places that are out there, bunkers, everything. It's all going to be on that spreadsheet, and it's going to be on princecelebration.com. So just know they go there. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this. And the reason why is because of the W Hotel. Let's talk about how much per night it is at the W Hotel. The W Hotel cost $191 a night. With taxes and whatever crazy fees that they come up with, you're looking at over $200 a night to stay at the W Hotel. Now, you'll get to meet some of those people that are performing, whoever they may be. If that's where they're staying, I don't know. But here's some other things to consider, because I'm assuming that you're going to fly in and you're going to rent a car. And you're going to want to drive around Minneapolis and St. Paul and to Chanhassen. You're here for the celebration, so you're probably going to go to Chanhassen too, obviously. You're going to be doing some driving. It is a 30-minute drive, a half-hour drive from the W Hotel to Paisley Park. Also, at the W Hotel, you will pay for parking. Right. Overnight parking is $50 a day at the W Hotel. There is a place called Manny's that's I guess is close by or connected to it, I guess. That's $15. Daily parking, if you park at your damn self, is $25 every time that you pull in and out of that thing. And parking after 4 p.m. is $18. And if you happen to have an oversized vehicle, that's $60 a day. A day at the W Hotel. There's no free parking. Just telling you. I'm just telling you.
Just putting it out there.
I'm just putting it out there. Now, however, let's talk about the supporting partner, Hilton Bloomington. Hilton Bloomington is $50 a night, actually $40 a night less than W Hotel. It's a Hilton Bloomington, and it's $149 per night for either 2 double beds or a king size bed. Not only is the parking free, completely free, you got to park yourself, but it's completely free, and it's a really nice area. It's the area itself is really just tons of eateries and tons of things all around. It's a nice area. It really is a nice area. It's a 10-minute drive, it's like 9-minute drive to the Mall of America. So if you wanted to, go to the mall on your day, actually, when you first get there, when you first fly into Minneapolis, Mall of America is right there. It's like you pass right over Mall of America when you're flying in. It is like, once you get into the rental car, it's like 5 minutes. You're there at Mall of America. If you wanted to go there, grab lunch or do whatever, Mall of America is right there. It's a 10-minute drive to Mall of America, a 17-minute drive to Paisley Park, which I remind you, you're going to be going to every day of the celebration. So it's closer to Paisley Park. It's closer to a bunch of different things. It's about $50 less a night to stay at the Hilton Bloomington, and it's free parking, so you're not having to pay for any of the parking. So here's what I can tell you. It is a lot of money.
It adds up for sure.
It is a lot. And I was actually surprised that this was actually a Hilton. The Hilton in Bloomington is definitely your best bet between these two hotels. I'm sorry. My apologies to Paisley Park or the estate if you're upset with me by pushing Hilton. You did list them as your supporting partner. So here's the thing though. It's night and day. First off, the Hilton is a much better location for getting back and forth to Chanhassen. It's half the time to get to and from Chanhassen. You have so much around you in that area. There is so many things. There's so many restaurants. There's a bunch of shopping places. There's the huge, massive mall. When you're in the W in Minneapolis, you're in the middle of, it's cool to be in the middle of town, but it's not the incredibly safest place to walk around in the middle of the night. It's just not, it's not an incredibly great area. Sometimes it can be, it just kind of depends on if there's things going on, if there's a lot of, foot traffic or whatever. But it's pretty limited in the amount of places you can go to. And it's not quite, so it's just not, and there's not a bunch of things that are going on in that area right now. Now, I'm not saying that there's not other things that aren't going on, but it's just better just to do Hilton.
Yeah, it's better to consider which is going to be the most central, based upon all the different things that are spread out and that will be spread out. That's something to consider. I know it's early to know that, but we can even look at the venues and the type of shows that went on last year, and it still kind of makes more sense to be towards the Hilton area, more centralized to everything. So it does make more sense.
Heidi says the Cure is not playing across the street from First Avenue. Excel is in downtown St. Paul. What is the arena that is right across the street from First Ave? Is this advertised on the First Ave website, Heidi? So, okay. If you want to see the Cure on the 8th, they're still in driving distance, and it's still not bad. Again, you're going to be saving a ton. I mean, we're talking about over the course of, let's just say you're there for 5 days. You got 3 days for event. You're going to fly in the first day. Maybe you're going to leave on the next. Let's just say you're going to be there for 5 days. You're talking about the $50 more that you're going to be paying per night to stay at the W, which is $250. Plus, on top of that, the $50 a day that you're going to be paying for parking. That's another $250. You're talking about a minimum of an extra $500 if you're planning on driving around to see some of the sites and whatnot.
I'm going to say it again. I'm going to get this expression and make it a thing. Fam up. If you guys fam up, the cost will go down considerably.
Yeah, it does not make. I'm telling you, it does not make sense. I've stayed at the Bloomington before. It is a great hotel. It's really nice. It's really it's really nice. It's a really, really nice hotel. And I'm actually surprised that hotel is that low, to be totally honest, because I'm just surprised that hotel is that low. And what's other cool is staying at their preferred hotels. Either one that you do. There's going to be tons of Prince fam that are going to be at that hotel. There's going to be tons of Prince fam at the Hilton. There's going to be tons of Prince fam at the W. So no matter which one you choose, you're going to be able to go down into the lobby, and you're going to be able to hang out in the bar and the restaurants and breakfast and whenever you're at the hotel, and you're going to run into Prince people all friggin' all day. Anytime that you're there at the hotel, there's going to be Prince people everywhere, which makes it awesome to stay at one of their preferred hotels.
Well, also, some of you may already know this, and many haven't even considered this fact. But if these are the host hotels that they are recommending, that is something that we want to support and we want to be a part of, because Paisley Park reaches out to these places, and that's why they come up with these rates. So the numbers and whatever's expected, if we continue to use the host hotels, those prices do continue to stay a little bit better and more competitive based off what's around. And it's easier for them to say, hey, this is the host hotel, this isn't. If we start going anywhere else and the numbers start dropping as far as which hotel, they start losing support. It does happen that way. So that's another thing to consider.
Yeah, my guess is that Paisley Park will put up their artists probably in the W, but there may be some artists that say, nah, I'd rather just stay at the Hilton, because the W is not just an incredibly easy place to get in and out of. The parking,
I don't think they're going to care.
As expensive as it is, well, the parking is expensive it is, because a lot of these artists are going to want to drive around themselves. I mean, we don't know what, anyways, I'm trying to understand this question here. Aloha says, we are going next week for the first time. My question, where do I get the best Juicy Lucy? What is a Juicy Lucy?
You know what? I almost wonder if if we should ask that question.
Is this like a
good question?
And maybe I just
like a Juicy Lucy.
I told you there's no strip clubs.
Matt's bar.
But yeah, and they also have, again, on Hilton Bloomington, they also have continental breakfast every morning. You can also get other things too. So, all that stuff is there. I don't think I don't know what they include and what they don't include, but it's not worth that much money. It really isn't. But
we have a response here. A Juicy Lucy burger stuffed with cheese.
What now? I am supposed to know that.
Wait, it's moving so fast I couldn't even.
Hey, now.
Here it is. Here we go.
What? I've seen the ground beef with the cheese inside of it. With that's just kind of mixed in, but not like, this sounds like it's a burger M&M with cheese.
Isn't that a Rick James song? Lucy's rap.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, so there is a bunch of great places to eat and everything. But anyways, I'm about to pull down the map, but I wanted to show you guys so you could visualize everything that's going to be happening. Because again, note where the W is, note where Paisley Park is.
I'm so mad at you guys now.
And the Hilton is right there in the middle of all that stuff. I'm not waiting until June to have a Juicy Lucy. I'm going to find something here.
That's what I'm saying. I want that now. I want it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a burger for lunch tomorrow. All right, so that is the map. All right, so overall, here's my suggestion: stay at the Hilton Bloomington. I don't know what Jeff is doing. He still hasn't told me anything. But my guess is
I told you what I told you. I don't know. How could you know if I don't know?
He doesn't know. He's probably going to hook up with some lovely lady and have his own place to stay on a couch somewhere.
Really?
he's not going to do that. A gypsy would kill him.
We're gonna have a party.
Yeah, right. We can have a party anywhere, but I'm going VIP Diamond. I'm staying at the Hilton. If you want to run into me, that's where we'll be. Yes, I'm taking the map down because my horrendous Photoshop work. It was last minute Photoshop work.
I'm going to follow
Borealis.
I'm going to follow the recommendation earlier, and I'm just going to stay under the creek bridge. I'm just going to hang out over there. I got my tent.
Yeah, you could. I heard somebody else say that if you have a tent, you can go and there's people that Now, here's something else. That Elena's upset about something. What is she upset about? Is she a vegetarian? I don't know. Anyways, so here there are tons of great places to eat, by the way, at Minneapolis. We normally go there's two places that I go to every time I go to Minneapolis. Not talking about record stores, record stores. I always go to Cheapo Records in whenever I'm there in Minneapolis, because they have the hugest selection of vinyl. Electric Fetus is great, but Cheapo Records is a great place. But as far as food is concerned, I always go to the Original Pancake House because their breakfast is ridiculous. It's very non-keto, very non-keto. And pizza wise, I always go to Gia Maria's. So those are the two places that I always go to whenever I'm in Minneapolis: the Original Pancake House and Gia Maria's, because you don't have either of those. We just don't have either of those. Yes, thank you. Gia Maria's, Heidi's. Yes, thank you. She was quick on that, Gia Maria's.
Yes, because we kept forgetting it.
Yeah, I knew what I was going to say. Gia Maria. Yep. Every time they got the most amazing pizza. It is, if you like northern New York style pizza, even though it's not New York, but it's fine. It's about
I'm like,
it's like that floppy. It's like, yeah, baby, come on now, bring it.
No, that's how.
Yeah. So, and Heidi also says the best. Oops, I didn't mean to.
Samantha's just milking it completely now. That's like,
yeah. Let me. Samantha, reach out to me because I absolutely would love to do record stores that actually have, because she's right. She will
Uber us.
Records. You will go to Cheapo Records and you will go to Electric Fetus and these places that do not have anything in stock, because everybody goes to Electric Fetus and they clean out. Now, here's what I can say about Electric Fetus is, because a lot of these independent artists that we're like so off the path right now, is that they don't really typically have a lot of they have a lot of artists in there that will, like Liv Warfield's album was in there. And she, they have their albums and they're signed. So they like pre-sign them and they have like a bunch of collector stuff that's there at Electric Fetus. And it's just, but anyways, we're going to have, as we get closer, we'll tell you about the places that need to go. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, is that we were, let's get ready to answer any questions that popped up in the chat area. I'll look on the social sites too, but one of the things that I saw multiple times when we were talking about this is that a lot of people are still fussing about the new material issue. Where is the new material that we were promised? Why haven't we gotten any new unreleased stuff from Prince? What's going on? Why is this Netflix documentary still not out? That's holding up everything. Holy cow, what's happening? Because there's all kinds of different assumptions as to what's going on with the new material, why we haven't gotten the new material. The biggest one is that the Netflix documentary has rights to use anything that's unreleased, or any material that's in the vault for the documentary. And they can't do anything until this is out and done with and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. The other one was this. There's like so many different theories out there. But here's what I want to tell you. The first thing is, there's a couple things to address here. The first thing is, know who you're complaining to. that's the biggest thing that I can tell you more than anything. For instance, people keep attacking Sharon L. Nelson, Prince's sister, about the releases. And I said this last month. I actually said it a couple months ago. And I kept getting my hand slapped and I kept getting kicked in the shins. And people were saying, I what I said was, and I primarily said this on Twitter, I said, they don't have anything to do with that. Sharon doesn't have anything to do with that. And people raked me over the coals for saying that. They're saying, she's crazy. The state has all the, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. But what I didn't tell you, and I kept quiet. I just took the beating. I kept quiet. But what I didn't tell you was the person that I got that information from was Sharon. But I couldn't say that was my source because it was kind of, I guess at the time, it maybe was kind of said in confidence. It was just a discussion. So I was really free to kind of talk about it. But you never know who was supposed to know what. I was simply protecting her and the estate by trying to kind of keep some of the bashing to a minimum as people attack her for something that she has nothing to do with. And luckily, and I'm glad that she did, because a few days ago on Twitter, she posted this: Sharon L. Nelson has no voice or involvement in the decisions made in the Prince estate matters. #slave.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now that you've heard it from her, she said it. She doesn't have anything to do with any of that. So now you can see that I am not crazy. Well, that's debatable. I get it. Debatable. I get it. But a lot of times if I say something, it's because I know something. Either because, but I'm not going to divulge stuff just because there's conversations that happen. But if I see the estate, or if I see somebody that works within the walls of the estate, or Paisley Park or something getting bashed for something they have nothing to do with, or it's just somebody's just completely just off base with whatever, hypothesis or thought or whatever is that they have. I might say something, but then I won't say anything else. People don't go, where are you getting this information? Well, I'm not going to tell you, because until they say it out loud, or, the conversation becomes public somehow, I'm just not going to do that. I have a lot of sources inside the walls, and and I also know a lot of people, because I've been doing this for so many years. I also know a lot of people that know even more people than I know inside the walls. So here's the next thing I can tell you without divulging any details. There is new music coming, and collections that are being put together, some of which are already put together and ready to go.
Ready to go out the door. But some things have to happen before they can come out. The new unreleased music, never heard before music that you've been waiting for, they want to release it. Okay, but they can't yet. It's not that they won't, it's they can't. That's all I can say. And you can go on Twitter and Facebook and stomp and scream and be mad as hell. It won't change anything. The estate wants to give you what you want. Right.
They want to give it to you. They absolutely positive, but the people holding things up aren't concerned because you're not yelling at them. You're yelling at people who don't control that part yet. Anyways, all I can say is, because that was like a common thread that I kept seeing. It was just like, well, where's the new music that we were promising? Where's this? It's like, all I can say, here's what I can say. Just be patient. I know Prince had a lot of issues with this too, because, there were so many talking heads and people voicing opinions and things that just were not correct, even when he was with us. And was just like, right. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what all the stuff that's happening in the background. This is not them going, yes, I know you want us to give us money, but we're going to hold on to it instead because we'd rather see you frustrated.
Right. It makes no sense.
It's nonsensical. If you think about it, it's nonsensical. They want to give you what you want because they want your money. Not I said that's a little bit brash, but
we get it that people, someone said earlier, people complain about air, like there's always going to be someone that has something to say and is upset, and complaining, but we should all know better than to feed into that, because the bottom line is, everything that Prince did, even around all the negativity, was finding the good in the other side of things. Why aren't we doing that? Instead, the selfish thing is coming out, the anger and the unnecessary frustration. Yeah, we all want new music and new this and new that. However, patiently or impatiently, you get it when you get it. And since you don't have control over other people and other things, all you can do is control yourself. So that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, and again, to be clear, they're not being selfish. They're not holding back. They're not breaking their promises or anything like that. Their stuff ready to go. I'm telling you,
it's just not time.
Ready.
That's all to it, right?
Just be patient.
When things aren't.
It is all sitting behind a dam, and that dam is very close to breaking open. And hopefully before this year is out. And when it does, you will be happy. But it's tough to watch because, again, so many people are upset, fussing at the wrong folks. And, when they want what you want,
right?
They want to give you that music. That's basically what it is. They want to give, but there are other things in play. So be patient. It's coming. We're probably going to get, again, I can't say but we're probably going to get a couple of surprises before the celebration. So just chill.
Right. Things will come in their due time. Right.
Man, just chill, brother.
Man, you act like you got no faith in anything, man. Just kick back. It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen.
Just chillax, bro. Just chillax. What's up? I say the Prince ruined it, just totally ruined us. I mean, because he really set improper expectations. Yeah, he really did.
You are spoiled brats, is what you are.
Brats is basically what you are. I'm used to getting 3 albums a year. You
right, baby.
Blackheads. It's also why he never went. One of the reasons why he never went backwards, never went back into the vault for some of this stuff. I mean, he was just creating at this massive pace. It's like, and all the time, new stuff at every single turn. And if you have a vault with old music, you only have to go back to that when you were like tapped out of ideas.
Right.
And that wasn't Prince. He was never tapped out. He was a never ending well of music. I mean, he was music. It just flowed out of him no matter what he did. I mean, somebody could be, tapping on a desk and he'd be like,
pass gas.
Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Yeah. Let me, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a song out of that. La 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 he. We're gonna call this part 2.
There it is.
And he just never went back. And so it is what it is. Just know.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see everyone who's watching this broadcast actually take that angle and kick back for a minute and settle in and just go, you know what? It is what it is. And you can see the chat, and if people are saying that, you know what? Relax. Because what's going to happen next is when they finally open the floodgates and things start happening, watch how we still have complainers. It's not going to change anything. So why feed into it? That's the point. That it doesn't matter whether they were releasing 4 years ago, 6 years ago. Somebody mentioned that. It doesn't matter even if they started releasing then. We'd still have complainers, and that energy just pours into other people. Stop accepting that energy. Just let it go.
Elena, I'm used to getting a sound check, concert, after show, and breakfast. Right? He's not with us anymore. This is not happening. There's only like a limited stuff. I mean, you might get pancakes. I don't know. I did order pancakes. I did order pancakes at a celebration one time. I was like, I'm in Paisley Park. I need to have some pancakes.
Man,
and they were okay.
Those pancakes are amazing.
They are good, but they weren't like
what on New Year's. Those were.
That's only because Prince didn't make them at the time. That's the only reason. So here.
I'm sorry, Prince has never cooked for me, so I can't speak to that.
Well,
I can say those pancakes were good on New Year's Eve. That's what I'm saying.
After basketball.
Yeah. Man,
game blouses. No, but so, and the only reason why I even bring that up as far as the release isn't because that was like a massive. Like I was saying, we're going to be talking about the celebration tonight. What do you want us to talk about? What are the questions you want to think? It was like, I was like 6 out of 10 questions had something to do with unreleased material. I'm like, that doesn't have to do really with the celebration. I can guarantee, here's what I can guarantee you. If you come to the celebration, you are going to hear music from Prince that you've never heard before.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what level that you It doesn't matter what level you go on, general admission, VIP, it doesn't matter. You are going to hear music from Prince that you've never heard before. It's happened every single celebration, and it's not going to stop now. Matter of fact, the VIP has actually got a special studio session. They're going to be playing some new material, some Prince videos, I guess. There's a bunch of things that are going on.
Heck, I'll go as far to say is not only will you hear music that you've never heard before, but you'll learn something that you never knew before, and you'll meet somebody that you haven't met before, and be cool with it. And it's going to be a lasting thing. All three of those experiences will happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. I'm not going to justify the pricing of it. I already did. I kind of justify the pricing too. I told you, Paisley Park doesn't hold a whole bunch of people. It can only hold 500 people per track, seated. So seated 500 people, but in that soundstage area. So with the 4 tracks, that's 2,000 people. That pricing has to be spread out somehow. And when you only have 2,000 people divided into whatever that amount is that they're going to have to pay all of those people and all the sound people and whatever bands that they're having to do, that's the reason why the price point's at where they are. If you can't afford it, I get it. I also understand that there's people that are frustrated that they don't want to pay for that price point without knowing who you're going to see. And I heard some people say it was cute when Prince did it because you knew Prince was going to be there. You knew he might make you breakfast. He might, but he never charged you that much. I mean, it was
Christopher math and all good, doing all that math stuff.
I'm just telling you, it was different when Prince did it, when he would say, come, you need to pay this. I'm not telling you who's playing, because you knew, was it Nora Jones was going to come out, or you knew that somebody was going to come out, or look, Kendrick Lamar just popped up on the stage. It's a little bit different. You don't know that something like that may happen at the celebration. Mm-hmm. You don't know. But here's what I can tell you. If you just go for the panels and the experience of it and to hang with a bunch of Prince people and to kind of just be enveloped in love and just all kinds of just amazing purple people from all over the world, that in itself is worth it. And the music is extra. You're going to get live performances. You just don't know who they are. You're going to see Prince footage of live concerts that he's done in the past. So you're going to see a Prince concert that you've probably never seen before. You're going to hear music that you've never heard before. You're going to hear stories that you've never heard before. You're going to meet people that you're going to be friends for life that you've never met before. If you just pay for just that part of it, it's worth it. It really is worth it. So here's what I can tell you. It's a lot of fun. If you love Prince and you love hanging around people and you love geeking out on all things Prince and all things purple, you got to come to the celebration. That's just all there is to it. You got to come. And let me tell you this. I've gone to celebrations every time as general admission. Mm-hmm. And always had the best friggin' time and never walked out of there going, man, I wish I'd gotten VIP. Never once have I gone and been like, damn, I'm going as VIP just because, like, all right, screw it. I want to see what it's like. I just want to see what it's like to be on the VIP level instead of just on the GA admission.
I'm already a diamond, so I just
in the rough.
I'm just in the rough. I'm in the rough right now, going through a rough patch.
You still in the oyster's ass.
I'm just a lump of coal. I'm a future diamond.
Oh my God, we're going south now. Anyways, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so Marcia actually breaks this down a little bit too. I think Marcia, I'm sorry. When you break down the VIP price, it's really worth it. 1141.25 divided by 4 days equal 285.31 for VIP, which includes food per day and 5 hours per day. 285 divided by 5 hours worth of entertainment per day equals 57.06 per hour to celebrate Prince. I think it's worth it. All right. And on top of that, you're already there, so you're going to experience a lot of other things that aren't attached to the celebration, I might add. Yep. And that is, and the numbers that she just gave were for VIP, not for general admission. So
exactly.
if you can afford VIP and you can do general admission, do general admission. See, this is the only thing. Jeff Page has already told me that he's not doing VIP. You told me this on the phone. You were like, nah. You said you weren't doing it. So this is, but you don't understand. It's causing me all kinds of problems.
Why?
Here's why. First off, I'm not going to be with you. We're going to be on different tracks.
We can hold hands on the drive.
Just touch me over the rope. Touch me over the velvet rope.
I'm gonna rent my own car and we'll just like wave at each other as we drive down.
Let's practice. Let's practice. We got to practice on video. I'm trying to hold your hand.
Pass the grip. Oh, wait, wrong way. Oh,
me hanging. Oh my God. It's already bad. It's already going bad.
Look, I promise you.
Same track, but that means there's twice the opportunity for you to be able to see one of us. Because
well, you know what? You guys will see both of us, but he'll be on one side of the rope. I'll be on the other side of the rope.
Yeah.
We can still touch elbows.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too for people who have never been to Celebration or kind of debating: do I want to spend twice as much to go? Let me. For the most part, you're going to be doing the exact same thing in general admission that you will be with VIP. VIP has some things that are different. You get fed as a VIP. You get drinks as VIP, not alcoholic drinks, but regular Coke, whatever, waters, whatever. You don't get that at all when you're on general admission. You get some experiences like sound recording experiences. You probably get to hear, I saw somebody ask about tours. Yes, there are every single one I've ever gone on, there is a tour of Paisley Park that is included. Matter of fact, last year we weren't sure if there were, and we paid for tours and they were like, no, you're already in here. And they gave us the money back because they were like, you're going to be upset. So but there are tours included. It is a shorter tour on general admission, a longer tour on VIP. Just VIP just gets access to a lot of different other things, but it's really just about bragging that you can spend more than GA, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it is. It's just saying that you have twice as much money as
hey, you going to Celebration? Oh, you just general admission. Okay, we still cool though. We still.
What side of the rope you on, baby?
What side of the ropes, man? Man, I am the rope. I am the velvet rope.
Why you big? Non-spending. You just stay there on your side of the rope. But you're going to be in the same room. You're going to hear the same music. You're going to hear
same music. We'll be in the trenches with my soldiers. That's what I'm going to be. I don't know, you generals up there.
I don't even know why I even did that. I was like, I think I understand why we're doing VIP. I thought we were on the same page. I thought that we had this discussion previously.
I know what happened. You saw it and you went into impulse mode and you were hitting the button. You were like, VIP. VIP.
P Diamond.
Oh gosh.
Diamond. Pearls are okay. Diamond. I need diamonds.
Diamonds.
I know that's pearls is the same, but I want diamonds.
I like pearls, but diamonds. You just got caught up, man, in the moment.
I don't.
You were insatiable.
And it was funny because I just got back. For those that don't know, the reason why we were off air last week is because I was in Mexico. I was in Cozumel and Costa Maya, and then we went to Honduras. We went to Roatan, which is an island off of Honduras. It was a cruise. I wasn't like jet setting. So now where do we go, sir?
I'll just get some VIP tickets. Guess where I was?
It was a carnival cruise, so complete with the po man's buffet. But we just let, and I didn't have internet access the whole time that I was there, which was kind of friggin' amazing. Actually, it was to turn off digitally for a week. I was just like, I'm okay. I'm fine. And then when we finally got back on Saturday, we pulled into the port and I rebooted my phone, and everything was back to normal. I the first thing that popped up was like tickets on sale. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, how many days has this been out? Luckily, it had only been announced that Friday night at 10 p.m. And so not all the tickets had sold out yet, because remember last year it went nuts.
It went nuts that day.
Again, I was out of town when they went on sale, and you had to order them. I was like, I can't do anything. I was trying to do it on my phone, and the ticket things kept failing. If everybody remembers last year when the ticket purchase stuff just kept failing. And anyway, so yeah, I'm standing in line waiting for the elevator to go up to the car, and I'm like, purchased. And I'm like, and wife was like, what do you got your credit card out for? I was like, I can't tell you, you'll kill me. So I'm just going to continue taking this in, and we're going to talk about this later. I'll make decisions after I get the confirmation. I'll tell you. After there's no way out and I cannot uncancel.
I think Rodney kind of got it settled, got it figured out for you, man.
What are you doing? Nothing. Mind your own business, woman.
Rodney got you settled, man. You just need to stay your ass here, man.
Rodney, I was actually going to call you. I was like, hey, the tickets go on sale when I'm out of town. You can just order me one. But he would have said no.
No, Rodney, he was going to call you and say, guess where I am.
Anyways,
you're not.
Nick says, have they posted schedules? No, and they won't. Every single celebration I've been to, hold on a second. Let me pull this up. 1 second. Go ahead and talk, Jeff.
What was the question? I was asleep. I missed the whole thing, but that's all right. I was going through trying to see if there were any good questions. So I missed it all.
So this is from 2018. This is the celebration from 2018. And I'll show you this. You don't get this. You don't know what the schedule is until you go to pick up your badges, because normally they'll be on the back, and I will show you what this looks like. I don't know if I can change myself to be the big man. Yes, I can. Look at that. This is, and in the back of it is normally I'm trying to make this so it's not glary. Is
That's
normally
cool. Doesn't have to read it.
So it's actually a schedule that is, again, you don't get this until you pick up your badge, and then it's normally on the back of the badge that shows you where to go, what's going on. Which is this? Let's relive 2018, shall we? And it's actually on both sides. So on Thursday, April, this is 2018. On Thursday, April 19th, it was at 5. And the whole reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to kind of understand who have never been to a celebration before, what you can expect. What exactly can I possibly expect once we have the full schedule? This is 2018. On Thursday, April 19th, the first day of this event, from 5 to 6, it was Sheila E. It was a panel. Then they had a meal break, I guess because it was started at the end of the day. This was like a second track. And then they had an arrangement panel, and which was a panel that talked about, set stage stuff and whatever, which was actually really, really cool. And then they actually allowed us to see a concert of Prince's live on the screen, which was really, really cool. So we actually got to see an entire performance of a concert of his. And then Sheila E. performed. That was day one. Then on day 2, you had another concert screening. And then they had another panel talking about Minneapolis in the early years. And then another concert screening. So you got to see 3 concerts at this point. We're only on day 2. And then on 8 o'clock at night at Target Center, which is what is across the street from First Avenue. Thank you. They played Prince live on the big screen, which is kind of a little bit like the version that you saw last year, where it is a huge Prince concert that is happening on the screen, just like you're at an event, but there is an actual band that is playing on the stage along with they pulled out all the tracks except for Prince's parts, and the band is playing the actual music live in sync with the concert video. And the only thing that's missing from the stage is Prince, and it's like you're at a concert. It's pretty freaking amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. Then Saturday they had the Funk Soldiers panel, and then they performed also. Who was in Funk Soldiers? That was Shelby J. It was Liv Warfield. It was Sonny T. There was a bunch of people. It was like an all-star thing. And then on the last day of the event, they also had a museum tour. They had a big tour. The tour at Paisley Park happened there too. And then, of course, Funk Soldiers performed. And then on the last day, they had an F Deluxe panel. For those who don't know, F Deluxe is previously The Family. They renamed themselves F Deluxe. So they had a panel. They had an iconography panel, a dance panel. So they talked about the iconography, and then they had another panel talk about dance, and then The Family performed that night. That was 2018. So that's kind of an idea of what you can expect as far as like the schedule is concerned once they decide who that is. Now, for me, I've already seen everybody. That's the only thing that's kind of tough for me, is that it doesn't really matter who it is. I've seen NPG multiple times. I've seen The Family multiple times. I've seen Maserati twice. And also Brown Mark Nation would make it 3 times, I guess. So technically, but I've seen Wendy and Lisa actually on the Eroica tour in Atlanta. But I have seen the Revolution. I've seen the Revolution multiple times too, posthumously. Who else am I missing? I've seen Liv Warfield multiple times. I've seen Shelby J multiple times. There's not many. I've seen Morrissey in the Time multiple times. I've seen Vanity back in the day. Obviously, I've seen Apollonia back in the day. I've already seen everybody, so it's not like, I don't know who you can pick that I haven't already seen. And I'm not alone. I know that everybody here has been Madhouse. Yeah, Ronnie goes, how about Madhouse? No, I have not. Correct. I have not. I have seen LP though, with Eric Leeds and St. Paul, but I know that's not the same, but you're right. I have not seen Madhouse. Could they do Madhouse? Yes, everybody.
Yeah, they could pull it off.
Jerome's with us. Eric Leeds is with us. Yeah, I mean that's doable. They're all here, right?
Yeah, it's doable. It's definitely doable.
There's nobody in this mix not here. That's a good thought. Rosie G obviously saw her on tour back in the day, but I've never seen her by herself. I forgot to mention that too. We were talking about what was earlier discussed about Maserati, about the passing of Screamer.
Yeah,
that was like really early in the show, and I forgot that. I don't know.
Yeah, it came on just as we were bringing them in. That's where we realized that happened.
Yeah. So another person in the purple circle has left us, but it's tough. It's tough because so many of these people are leaving us one by one. But I think that's also another reason why you need to come to the celebration, because a lot of these artists, no offense to any of our artists, but I mean, some of these folks are getting up there, and like Morris is on his last tour. He's closing it out. So if you don't get an opportunity, I don't know.
Yeah. And I just thought about it. What I want to bring up for those of you that are absolutely positively not going to the celebration, if they already know, because there may be some, the 7th, Craig Alexander, the Prince Day Houston event. You definitely want to consider looking into going to the Prince Day Houston event on June 7th. That will probably be a killer event for those of you that absolutely aren't sure. And then for those who are sure, it wouldn't hurt to stop at Houston, do that, and then fly up to Minneapolis from there. So that's another thing. And yes, I'm posting a link for the Eventbrite. I think that's the correct one for Prince Day Houston if you want to look at getting tickets and his information on the website. So that's something you absolutely want to look at as well, because Craig Alexander is good people, and he was doing his thing out there. And as you all know, Shelby J will be performing and knocking it out the park there. She announced that yesterday or 2 days, the other day, whatever it was. So I want to bring that up too.
Yeah. Yeah. Shelby just did a live announcing that she was going to be at the Houston event, and I would love to go, but I'm going to be out of town on Sunday, just getting back. And I would have to fly out to Houston, like maybe sleep one night, then you go to the party and do that. Then I would have to take a red eye out to Minneapolis the day that the celebration starts. I just can't do it.
You know, you could just go VIP and get a driver.
I could. That's right. Can you sleep for me? I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I need you to take me out there. No, but you know, again, a lot of people, just be aware of that Prince Day Houston. That's going to be an awesome event as well. And so, yeah, let's give that some love and go there.
Yeah. There's a lot of different events going on. Again, we one of the things we got to, make sure of is that, we are planning on doing, we are planning on putting as many events as we possibly can onto the princecelebration.com website. So just know that we are doing that. We have amazing shows that are happening all over Minneapolis and St. Paul, in and around and near the event, and they're happening on the 7th. Even some that actually conflict, by the way.
Right. Absolutely.
Conflict with them. So even if you're not going to be able to make it, even if you're not going to be able to make it,
one thing you'll make another. Yeah.
You can come to Minneapolis and not do the celebration and just go to all the different events.
Yeah,
go to
absolutely.
All the concerts and stuff that are around town. There's always plenty to do around the celebration.
Yeah, you're guaranteed not to run out of things to do. So, and plus, while you're there, you'll have your cell phone, so you'll be able to go on the Prince Celebration site. You'll already have the app for Soundaround, all those things we talked about earlier. So you will be more than armed and ready to have something to do every night and every day.
Yeah, there's and on top, for those who don't know about Riley Creek, that's right across the street from Paisley Park. You can walk to on the golf path that kind of runs the Paisley. But as we get closer to the event, and you guys are ready to start planning out your vacations for those who have never been before, we will have. Actually, we've done a celebration before, a celebration special, the V1, that kind of talks about all the cool places to go, all the things that are out there. We've done this before. We can do it again at some point in time. But anyways, yeah.
I'll have my tent.
But anyways, all right. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I hope that we answer questions. Was there any floating questions? I think
there was one. There was a question, but shoot. Yeah. Oh, parking. Yes. Nick Garcia asked a good question. Is there parking for VIP? And
in the previous years, there have been. If you were a VIP, you got to park on site at Paisley Park during your track. So once your track is over, you got to go. So that's VIP, because there's only so much limited parking that's there. But VIP typically got to park at Paisley Park in the past. However, last year they did not.
That's right.
But there are people, I was so nervous about doing this because there are people that were parking at Riley Creek Park across the street, because you can park at Riley Creek Park and get out of your car and walk down the golf path underneath the highway. It's a golf path that goes down underneath the highway, and then you come up in front of Paisley Park and you just walk right in. And it doesn't cost anything to park there. I was deathly afraid that I was going to get towed. I did not want to get my rent-a-car towed. Because I don't even know what you do if your rent a car gets towed. How do you even
you just leave it. It's a rent a car.
Yeah, it's a rental car though, but it's like you get towed. It's just I don't know. It just made me nervous. So it would be cool. I know this was an issue that we had talked about with Celebration before. Is just the parking of it, because even if you're GA, you typically would have to park somewhere. I heard a lot of people that parked in shopping centers, that were like a mile down the road, and then they Ubered to Paisley Park. So there's that. You can certainly do that. That's a lot safer than just randomly parking your car at the park.
Right.
Seems like
and again, they did have the buses, so they were scheduled to pick up at the host hotels. And if you just stay on the schedule, you can just ride in on the buses and don't worry about it, the shuttle bus from your hotel to the to Paisley Park. So that also was an option. And some people who were willing to park over across the street at the place, others took the shuttle and left with the other people who were parking. So there's all kinds of opportunities and options. But last year there was no parking specifically at Paisley Park.
Yeah, and again, as Rodney says, Lake Ann is. Well, I'm sorry, Samantha says Lake Ann is the park across the street. When I tried to click on Rodney's thing, it kind of went. We got so many chat messages that are going up,
moving fast.
Rodney also says that parking at Lake Ann Park is not wise at night. And Olga also says it's pitch dark. So, and Samantha says, and she knows everything. You need to be on the podcast and just share your. We should just have her like as a third person here. You probably get told to be there past 10 p.m. when the park closes. Had a cop come up to our car back in the early 2000s while waiting to see if Prince was playing. Okay, there you go. Walk with a taser, and as Susan says, just take the shuttle.
Just take the shuttle.
Now, what they did before was they allowed you to park like a couple miles down the road at the bus station, and then you could get on a bus there at the shuttle. The shuttle just brought you there. It's fine. Or you could take shuttles from the host hotels. That was what they did before, where they had shuttles going to and from the host hotels. So if you stay at one of those hotels, they probably will have a shuttle going to and from the host hotels.
Like the one you kept missing the go home bus every night. I mean, I think we all did at some point, but we're grown, so
yeah. Well, so
it's easy to miss.
If you're VIP, you might get to park on the property again.
We'll find out.
And that's the other thing too. What I was saying, since you're not going VIP, is that our tracks are probably going to be different. And I love you, brother, but I'm not going to sit there.
I think you're overthinking it, man.
4 hours waiting for you to get off your track.
I think you're overthinking it, over worrying. It's going to be fine.
It's not going to be fine. It's going to be traumatic. I'm already feeling trauma.
If I get stranded somewhere, I'm sure someone in the Prince family will be available for me to hang out with.
Cassandra says she's parked at Lake Ann past 3 celebrations, had no issues at night. But and normally when everybody gets out of the track, there's multiple people that have parked there.
Right. So
once the track gets out, multiple people, like a group of people, walk back to the car. So it is what it is. That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's show separation. So yeah. Anyways, I look forward to seeing so many of you folks there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do it again this year. It's going to be great. Can't wait. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any more questions, just put them on the Facebook page and I'll answer them as I see them. Oh, also, we also have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Prince Celebration. I don't understand why those URLs are available. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways,
it's amazing.
Facebook.com/groups/Prince Celebration. Or if you go to facebook.com/Funkatopia, you'll see that I posted that link there so that everybody can ask your questions within the group. And now the new celebration has occurred, now you can start asking questions. And we can answer them as best as possible. Or people that know the answers, like Samantha, can answer for you. And and Amico, I did not miss it. Amico was also talking about the boat cruise There's a boat cruise that's going to be happening as well during that event. But don't worry, Amico, don't worry. We are going to be putting a boat quake cruise on Lake Minnetonka. So they're going to be doing a cruise where it's going to be music and stuff out on Lake Minnetonka on a boat with a bunch of Prince fans on Lake Minnetonka, which is cool. And maybe you might get baptized in Lake Minnetonka. It's June, so it should be fine. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you had a fantastic time. I know that we did. Go facebook.com/groups/Prince Celebration, or just go to facebook.com/Prince Celebration. I mean, facebook.com/ who are we now?
Now I got to pull it up, man.
Screw it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I would tell you what's going on next week. I don't know. I kind of do, but I don't. I want to know, but I don't. Again, 3 things hanging in the air, and I don't know which one may drop. So Tuesday will be a surprise. I'll let you know probably some point this weekend. All right, let's try this again. Goodbye.